Hey guys, Jack Griffin here, and welcome to a new video. It's been a while, let's say, since I recorded. Obviously, I've had the Easter holidays and all that. Now, this video is going to be recorded on Thursday the 24th, because I've got some stuff to do in between then, and I thought, hey, why not? This, along with another video, are going to be recorded. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, that and another video going to be recorded. You'll see what that is. And I know I mentioned in my community post, now that they've changed it, that one I was looking forward to, the other not so much. Thankfully, this is the one I was looking forward to. Oh god, hang on. Bless me. But yeah, it's finally time. The Beast Quest Series 1 Retrospective. So this is part of a series I'm doing where I am going back, reading through all of the Beast Quest series. Basically, that they are updated reviews. Yeah, they are updated reviews. It's going to be very unique, especially for the older series like this, where I have not read them in a while. I have been rereading them as it is, but until now I've not read them in, like, some of them I've not some of the books I've not read in about 2 years. It's been so long. And yeah, now my series 1 Beast review was, of course, the first video I ever did back on the Jack Griffin channel, the old one. And it was back in 2022, and oh god, how old was I? I was 12. Yeah. Wait, no. 30. Yeah, I was 12 at the time. Never mind. I remember. And I was 12 back then. And that was the first review I did. But series 1 has come a long way. The first series. I am now 16. And rereading this series, I gotta say, and well, there is a big question that still stands. Does the series still hold up? Is it still a good first series? Has my opinion, do I like it more? Do I hate it less? So yeah, what are my updated opinions on this series? And that's what I'm going to be doing for all of them. Now, there will definitely be changes. So far, I've been pleasantly surprised with how many changes I've had to make. Because back then, I don't know why, young me decided that certain books were the greatest books of all of Beast Quest. Nothing could beat it. The series is the best. And, yeah, there's a lot of opinions that are different. Some of them have stayed the same. Obviously, you're going to get opinions that stay the same, different. Yeah. But yeah. So today, we're going to be looking back through this series 1, and by the end of it, we're going to find out, does it still hold up as a series? Or is it actually terrible and we were just overhyping it because it's the first series? Last year, I believe, also was Beast Quest's 15th. Yeah, by going off of being released in 2007. Yeah, last year was Beast Quest 50th wait, no. No, it's not. No, 2023, 15, 16, 17, 18. No. Damn it. One, two, three, four, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 19, 18, 17. 17, never mind. Anyway, I've wasted 5 minutes literally just talking about stuff like that. Let's get into the actual review and take a look at my updated opinions, because I will say my opinions have definitely changed for some of these books. And yeah. And for those who, by the way, and I will be doing a updated ranking of the series at the end. I won't be, now I will be talking about the categories I normally talk about, but I'm not going to change the score or rate them out of 10. I'm literally just going to be talking about the books themselves. So without further ado, let's get into series 1, where it all began. And starting with the book that started it all, the mascot of Beast Quest, Furno, the Fire Dragon. Now, rereading this, I just felt so nice. Now, of course, recently we've had the new protectors be the protagonist. Going back to where Tom started and having Tom and Eleanor be the protagonists of the series again, it felt really good. It felt really nostalgic. And I'm just going to say this off the bat. I think Furno is still a really good starting book. Now, of course, I think Furno has the best design of the series. For a Dragon Beast, it is one of the best, and I think I originally rated it 7. Yeah, I think I rated it 7 originally. I would honestly be settled to an 8. I really love his design, and out of all the Dragon Beasts, he still has one of the strongest designs. And I think what I love is we get, of course, and even I, rereading this other stuff, I forgot, how Tom actually gets into the castle because of Caldor. I always remember, and also I've just noticed, I noticed is when I'm rereading this, someone actually wrote in this. Someone put green pen in it or something. That's weird. What was he called? It was Caldor. Yeah, I always called him Caldor. So what I realized is because of Caldor's page. I also still think the prologue is still one of the best prologues. Not only because it was the first ever one, but also because, Furno kills someone. Someone dies in this prologue. This was when Beast Quest had the guts to kill people off, which we never see anymore. And yeah. And I still think, honestly, the abilities still hold up. Now, of course, you got the dragon. You've got the typical flying and fire breathing, mean durable. But the fact that he can camouflage as a rock or a mountain and can... No, wait, that's it. Never mind. I'd honestly, and just being really durable, I'd honestly boost the ability. I think I gave him a 6 originally. Yeah, I'd honestly boost it up to a 7. I think Furno has a really good set of abilities for the first book. And I know I'm doing the categories in between, but I'm just doing story elements in between. I also loved seeing, getting to see the bond between Tom and Eleanor start here, begin to blossom, let's say. And meeting them for the first time and looking back on how well they do as a team, it was really nice to see that. Considering, like I said, we've not seen them for a bunch of series, and even now, the chemistry they have here, which is going to happen for the whole rest of the series, it was so nice just to lay back and read the first ever Beast Quest book, and it was so chill, to be honest. And the fight. Now, yes, I still have my opinions on the fight. I do wish it was a bit longer, but I'm not as fussed about it. It was the first Beast Quest book, so whatever the length of the fight is, hey, we're going to get better fights, so don't matter. But the thing about this fight is it lasts a bit longer. I already just said it was 1 chapter. It lasts a chapter and a half, so I get a bit more. I know. What would you thought? Yeah, but should have probably just made it a 2-chapter fight. But I love the teamwork, and I love this. I just love it. And I think that's why Furno is held up so well. It tells a simple story, but sets everything up really well. And you get a beast that is not the most powerful. Well, Furno probably is the most powerful out of all the beasts, next to Epos. But to see just the humble beginnings, I think is what made this book really well. It sets everything up and we get a great beast to start the series off with. Well, the most iconic one. And to be honest, my opinions on Furno have gone up. I think it is a much better book than I originally said it was. And when we get to the ranking, you're going to see some changes. You're going to see some changes, definitely. But now it's time to get on to the second book. 10 minutes, yeah. I'm going to stop yabbering, whatever. It's time, guys. My boy, Sepron the Sea Serpent. The design is absolutely... Okay, the design is still amazing. I love the seaweed hair. I love his little grin on the cover. I love the chain. I just love the setting. Would I put his design down low from an 8? Yeah, I'd give it a 7 now, but still good. And, of course, the story I like, we get to meet... It's Tom and Eleanor basically keeping the secret from the locals. We get to see them actually interact with people for the first time, going against the rules. His abilities, Sepron's abilities, I wouldn't say they're as good as Furno's, but I still like them. Always loved them. And then we get to the fight, which I praise so wonderfully for having Tom nearly drown, put Tom in a lot of danger, and it was just a great fight, and I absolutely loved it. Until rereading the book. I'm gonna be honest, guys, rereading the book, I realised Sepron's fight was short. And not only that, there was barely a fight. When I first reread this, and I'm like, really? That's it? That's how short he barely has a fight? Because I was sure, I remembered Sepron having a fight. I remembered him, lying down in the coral, but literally all he does is snap up at Tom, go back down, snaps at Tom, go back down, and then tries to rush him, and then Tom just simply slices the chain off. That's that. Now the prologue was really good with Sepron attacking Callum and his dad's boat. But that's it. And I was so shocked. I rated this fight an 8 out of 10. When Furno, all along, had a much better fight, or we even had a fight, than Sepron did. And the book that I told everyone, including Adam and Lucas, I've boosted Adam's opinions on Sepron. I believe I have for Lucas. I think. I might have. I believe I have. The one I told everyone, oh, it's the best, you've got to give it a chance. It's literally the best. And that's the thing. Now, that's the thing. I don't hate Sepron. I don't. No, obviously. This little change is not going to help me hate Sepron. I still love Sepron to a T. He's one of my he's in my top 3 favourite beasts of Avantia. And everything about this book is great, except the fight. But I was so disappointed by the fight, and I'm like, really? That's what happens? And I'm like, wow, I really overhyped the fight when there's barely even one. And I kind of felt a bit disappointed, not gonna lie. But, yeah. My opinions on Sepron have pretty much stayed the same. I still love it. But I think what keeps him from being in top 3 is the fact that he manages to redeem himself in the next book when he fights Zephyr. That's what I think boosts him up, because he was able to redeem himself in Zephyr. I just wish he'd actually had a fight in his book. If he'd had a fight in this book, I reckon he'd still be placed where he was placed. Now, as you know, originally this was my absolute favourite of the series, and I applauded how brilliant it was. You're going to see on the ranking. You're going to see what happens. I still love... But, just because of the fight, that does not mean I hate Sepron. I still love him to a T. And I really like the book. I still think the book's great. The story's great. Characters. And Sepron as a beast. Design. Abilities. He still got it. Yeah, his design has gone out a bit, but that's just because maybe back then I overhyped him. And then I realised the fight wasn't actually that long of a fight. And I'm like, honestly, I give the fight a 2. Maybe even a 1. There was barely any. But now let's get to the third book. Let's get to Arc to the Mountain Giant. Now, this book, I was pleasantly surprised by. Now, whilst I think out of the 3 so far, it had the weakest story. Adam has never had the most positive reactions to Arcta. I like him. I mean, I've always never minded Arcta. I've always liked his book, and I've never thought he was bad. His design, whilst I'll be honest, would I say it's weaker than Sephiroth? I like it. Okay, no, we're not going to compare. I like his design. His abilities, he doesn't have many. It really is just strength on that. But I still think it was fine. I mean, he's a Cyclops. Well, Mountain Giant, but he's a Cyclops. So that's fine. And the fight, and thankfully the fight still retains. I love the fact that it was the Beast and Tom in danger. That is the key thing that stands out. I still love how they did that. And I always wonder about the story. Was it Tom helping them get free? And yes, it was. Thank goodness I just checked that. Eleanor and Silver and Storm, I think, yeah. Being trapped in the cave. Tom having to face Arcta. But what I love about this book was, like, the way they describe Arcta in this book. They make him seem so big and so terrifying. And one of my... Oh, I didn't break it, don't worry. But when I opened it, I just said... Oh, never mind. I just said a slight, creak. And I'm like, bloody hell. They're getting old. I mean, this is from 2007. It was... Yeah. Look, I can't even, fully open it. But yeah. This image of just Tom below Arcta's feet, pop, and him running through the forest, and Arcta just pursuing him in the back. And, now, I'm not gigantophobic. Gigantophobic. I don't have any phobias, to be honest. But for those who have, it gave off gigantophobia vibes of this massive giant just getting closer towards him. It felt terrifying, and that's what I love about this book. Like I said, the story was really just there. I still think it was a good story, but it's not very memorable. I think that's why I had to look through. It's not the most memorable, and like I said, I had to look through to realize what it was. I had an idea, but yeah. And I love how they present some kind of horror. Well, not horror, but it gave off terrifying vibes. It gave off big, scary vibes. And that's what I love about it. And once again, it's just great. And I really like that about Arcta. I was pleasantly surprised how much I really enjoyed this. And I was surprised about the description. Now let's move on to Tagus the Horseman. Now, this book I've always loved. It's a great book, and I love the setting, the story, Tom having to break out of prison, the fires, and then the actual fight against Tagus. Tagus stands out because this was the first fight that felt like it gave Tom a proper challenge. Tom was being dragged. He actually, there was blood. He was getting bruised and battered. He actually was getting pain and damage done to him by Tagus because of how wild he was. I wish there could have been a bit of a sword fight against Tom and Tagus. Didn't get that, sadly. Now, yes, I still think, compared to other Central Beasts, Tagus definitely has the weakest abilities and design, yes. I remember rephrasing that Tagus looks like tree bark, which I can't lie, he still kind of does. I don't know if it will focus out. Yeah, it will. You can see that he still kind of does, although he looks more scaly. Sorry. Oh, that smell. It's old book smell. And I still think his tail. Yeah. But once again, I think what makes it is the setting of it. And Tagus is actually a very, like in this, he's a very creepy beast. The prison break in night. Going on the, like looking after the cattle ranch. Not ranch. On the cattle run. And then facing Tagus in the night. There's a really good image of, I'm not going to show it now, because to be honest, I've probably wasted time doing that. 20 minutes. And I said this would take about half an hour. Never mind. And, you know, it's a really great image. If you've got a copy, you can find it. Of Tagus, like, rearing up in the, like, fog or the... Yeah, I believe it's the fog and the clouds at night. Tom's in the tree. Eleanor's, like, down there. And just seeing him just so broad. It was so nice. There was also this really... Why am I doing this? I literally said I weren't going to do it, and then I ended up doing it. But I really like this one image at the end where it shows Tagus just sleeping on this like rock thing, which I always found pretty nice. And yeah, I feel like that's a good best thing about Tagus. The story is the best thing. The beast himself, I love the vibes he gives off. But of course, design and abilities are nothing special. But it's the fight, giving Tom a proper challenge and dragging him through the thing. It made Tagus such an enjoyable book. And this was the first time where I felt a jolt of energy in this series, because, maybe just because Tagus is a fast-paced monster. Bloody hell, that scared me. Maybe just because Tagus is a fast-paced, you know, beast. And he is fast. But I think there was just this thing during the fight that just... Compared to the... Because there ain't been many fights. We get to the one with Tagus, and it's like, okay, we're going fast now. Things are happening left and right. And that's what keeps this book going. I think, yes, story is definitely the key part. The fight and the story are key parts. Other than that, I think Tagus is really just a standard beast, but we still love him. I mean, he used to be... he's always been one of the favourites. He was third place in the original ranking. Also, I've not really... yeah... and the tokens. The tokens aren't really used much apart from the final book, but there's that. Right, now to talk about the one we've all been waiting for. Has my opinions changed on the one that they call, if it can get off the other book, Nanook the Snow Monster? Have my opinions changed? No, to be honest, they've gotten a bit worse. Right, okay. In all fairness, I won't bash Nanook that much. I think design-wise, for a Yeti, it's cool. Her abilities are cool. Her story is really nothing special. Now, the key thing we remembered was the confrontation with the Snow Panthers. But rereading it, even that scene, it felt watered down compared to what we had read. To what we remembered, the scene was actually not as good as we remember, so even that was watered down. And I like the whole thing of Eleanor being trapped under ice. And then we get to the fight with Nanook. Now, I once stated, and I get this mixed up, I either say it's half a chapter or half a page of fight. It's half a chapter. It's not half a page. Bloody hell, that would be a thing even for Beast Quest to have that short of a fight. But you know something? And I never thought I'd say this. Nanook has a better fight than Inferno, because at least she had a fight. But yeah. The thing is though, Nanook as a beast, I think is fine. It's just her book, and also the fact that sometimes she's there and does literally nothing. But to be honest, I actually think Nanook redeemed herself with Arachnid in the next series. But we won't know until we get on to Arachnid. And yeah, so I'm just going to say, my least favourite book of the series has gotten a bit worse. So, yeah, when it comes to the ranking, there's not going to be any new place. It's not going to go up a place. It's honestly, well, it can't go down a place. Yeah, you probably made sense. And the fact that rereading this, I did not think Nanook would get worse, is saying something. I think the book's biggest fault, because honestly, the prologue is actually quite nice. I think the biggest fault is that the story doesn't have a standout moment. Well, it did, but with the Snow Panthers, but that's it. But even that now watered down, so yeah. The story doesn't really stand out that much. And I'm going to say this to the high heavens. Had Nanook had a longer fight, this book would have been fine. And had they done something more with the story, like added more elements, you're in the cold. I feel like there could have been lots more moments done. It kind of feels like a missed opportunity. I think that's the best way to describe Nanook. A missed opportunity. And that's why it is... my opinions have not changed about Nanook. And they have gotten worse. But now it's time to talk about the finale book of the series. The Beautiful. The one that I still love the cover to this day. Let me just look. Oh, just looking at the cover. It still looks gorgeous. The Wonderful Epos the Flamebird. Now, I still think Epos is a great finale. The design... look at it. She still looks gorgeous. The abilities, to me anyway, she easily has the best abilities of the series. And then it comes to the fight. Now, and this is where I'm actually gonna, say, I enjoy the setting of the climax. We get to meet Malvel, obviously. We finally get to meet him. There's not much of a final fight against Epos. Yeah, I've come to realise this series doesn't have many fights. Either you have a fight or it's not that long. Which is a shame. It's the only thing holding Epos down. But I still love the fact that Epos is still the only beast, I think. Yeah, the only beast in her book to appear in the first chapter. That is saying something. And I still think she's got the achievement. The story is still good. Finding the pieces of armor, finding out more about Tom's father, Taladon. It feels nice. I think that's what draws Epos so high. The story, once again, it's rich. And it's a great finale, ends it off. Malvel's gone. Or is he? And that's what I love. We get the ending with Tom and Eleanor being celebrated, starting their new partnership, which we're going to see for another 26 seasons. Actually, no, 27. I forgot about series 28. Because I thought that was a new Protector series. Well, it is, just not them as the central characters. But yeah. Epos is a great finale. I still think that, and I still stand that. She's really good. And yes, my opinions on her have gone down a little bit. But overall, I still think she's one of the best finales. She's one of the most important finales. And as a beast, she's one of the best. And there we have it. That was my updated opinions on Series 1. So, going back to the beginning of this video when I asked, is Series 1 still a good starting series? Is it still a good series as a whole? And have my thoughts, do I think it's better than what I originally envisioned, or do I think it is lower? And my answer to that is yes and no. And that is to two questions. One, is it still a good starring series? Yes. I still think it is a great starring series. It sets everything up really well. Tom and Eleanor are such good protagonists. We get to see their bond. We get to see them working together. And I think that's the biggest thing to take from this series. I think the story is actually the best part about this series. We get to introduce to the history of Avantia. We get to introduce to the beasts, the characters, Aduro, King Hugo, Malvel, obviously, Uncle Henry, Aunt Maria. We get introduced to all these characters that are going to become so important, and it sets them up really well. Now, that was the question I answered yes to. The no part was the one, has my opinions gone up? Sadly, no. And I'm going to be honest, as much as I still love this series, my opinions have gone down. And I think the biggest problem with this series is not the beasts themselves. I think this is a great batch of beasts for the first series, and we get so much diversity. A dragon, a sea serpent, a cyclops, mountain giant, a centaur, a yeti, and a phoenix. And the abilities, they're great. They each have an ability that stands out, but apart from Tagus, really. And really Arcta, to be honest. Tagus and Arcta are the ones that definitely have the weakest abilities, but yeah. But where they fall is the fights. Either there's barely a fight, or they are really short and you don't get time to really, enjoy them, or they're over before you know it, or they don't, you're left wanting more. That is, to me, the biggest thing that stops this series from being as good as it can be. I think they should have given Ferno a bit longer of a fight. They should have given Sepron a fight. And they definitely should have given Nanook a longer fight. And that's when I realised Nanook kind of had a better fight than Epos as well. And definitely give Epos more of a fight. Ferno, Arcta, and Tagus, I'm fine with the fights that they got. But Sepron, Nanook, and Epos, they definitely should have gotten better fights, in my opinion. So really, half of the series fights, I'm fine with. The other half could have been improved. But to be honest, they've got uniqueness about them. So they have qualities. And yeah, if I had to, rate the series again, I'm honestly going to give it a solid 7. I still think it's good. It is obviously I'm going to say it is the most important series of Beast Quest. And where it all began, it's what led to the series still, releasing books, still having entries all these years later. I honestly cannot be able to count again, 17, 18 years. Actually, no. No, right, no, 18 years it will be this year, yeah. But yeah, nearly 18 years. Okay, I'm going to go back to being all poetic. Nearly 18 years later, this series, it's still pumping out entries. 34 down. It's still pumping out books, still pumping out entries. And we are now, of course, on series 32 now. And none of that would have been possible. None of Beast Quest would have never started. I would never have been doing reviews on this series. Lucas wouldn't never have started his Beast Quest reviews, which then would have inspired Adam to do his Beast reviews. And then by those guys combined, they inspired me to do my Beast reviews. And then, of course, Year Unknown, who is sadly not with us anymore. He's not dead. Don't worry. Don't worry, guys. He's not dead. He's just, of course, he's just left YouTube, I believe, but I'm not going to talk about stuff. But yeah, it inspired Year Unknown and many other people in the community, all because of this series. It started it all, and I'm still happy. It will never be a bad series, and it will always be the most important series of Beast Quest, and it still is going to be a good series. I can't put it below good. And now it's time to get the ranking. Now, this is where my opinions change. You have just seen me talk about how much I was throughout this read through, I was shocked, I was surprised, I was a bit disappointed, but I was also just happy. But now it's time to actually rank them and where they stand. You probably might have seen the top one, but who cares? But yeah, now it's time to rank them all. And like I said, you guys, you're going to be pleasantly surprised. I am 100% sure you guys are going to be pleasantly surprised at where each one stands. Even I was shocked when I had to make the final ranking. It'd be like, wow, we've really come this far. We've made so many changes. But ultimately, I have to do this. I have to give my honest opinions and my updated opinions. And yeah, and by the way, I am going to talk about where each one originally stood, just so you guys can get an idea of how far they've either fallen or risen. So, last place, 3 years on. Yeah, over 3 years on. And still, my least favourite of the series is Nanook, the snow monster. I'm glad I'm not just, compared to my original review, boshing Nanook and just botching. And just saying, oh, it's the worst could have been better. How could you believe this? I was so over the top back then. But now I'm grown up, I can talk more calmly. The best way to describe Nanu, like I said, is wasted potential. Had it had a longer find, a more interesting story, I honestly think this would have been... It would have moved up several places. It wouldn't have been my favourite still, but it was a book that, I mean, ever since I saw the reviews and saw it was bad, I'm like, it can't be that bad. And then I read it and I'm like, oh, they were right. But yeah, some things never change. And I honestly think even 3 years later, and I reread it again, I am 100% positive, no matter what, until the end of time, Nanook will always, sadly, wasted potential, sadly, will always be my least favourite of Series 1. And nothing will change that. I used to say this was my least favourite book of the series. But is it though? No. I honestly think there are worse books than Nanook. Sawara. I was going to do the thing, but I can't be bothered. Like Sawara, but Nanook is still one of the worst. Right. And I'm shocked when I had to make the final ranking, and I had to put this here. I'm so sorry. Now, just so you know, just because I put it 5th place does not mean I hate the boy. I still love it with all my heart. I still love it with all my heart. And as much as it pains me to put it here, thinking about it now, I actually do think there is a chance it could go to 4th place. But I'm going to have to reread these two again. 5th place. For now, is Sepron the Sea Serpent. Now, as you know, Sepron was ranked number 1 as my absolute favourite of Series 1. Now it has fallen to 5th place. It has gone 4 places back. Now, once again, I still think Sepron could make it to 4th place because of 4th place. I'm having doubts. But for now, anyway, thing is though, I'm not going to do this again, probably. I'm not going to be like, oh, here's an update of my ranking, because to be honest, I feel like a lot of opinions are going to say the same. There's only so many opinions can change. So yeah, Sepron is now 5th place. I still love him. I just think that the fight really let it down. And it disappointed me so much that I'm like, really? That is such a blow. But I can't hate him. Even when he's 5th place, I can't hate the boy. I still love Sepron. I'll talk about the Beast of Avantia very briefly after this. But yeah, Sepron's 5th place. I still think the story, design, and abilities is still great. I still think he has a good premise. Oh, Sepron, if only you'd had a fight. Even if it wasn't even that long, at least you would have had a fight. I would have placed him definitely above 4th place if he'd had a fight. But that feels weird putting Sepron there. 4th place now. Now, this is where I think Sepron could take 4th place. And it's still the same place as he was when I originally did it. 4th place, we have Arc to the Mountain Giant. Now, this is the first beast where the design and abilities really go down. Now, I still love his design, but his abilities aren't really anything special. He gives one of the most useful tokens, but that's it really for design and abilities. It's the fight that really brings it up, and like I said, the description of Arcta and just him, he feels so terrifying. I love how Arcta is described in this book. It's really good. And the story, I will admit, Furno and Sepron, like, as the series went on, this has the weakest out of those 3 story-wise. But I still think that abilities? No. But I still think fight-wise he gets it. And that's why he has it just above Sepron. He has a good story, but that's the thing. Sepron has a better story, better abilities, better design, but it's fight. But the impact that Arcta had is why I put him 4th place and why he's still 4th place. He was 4th place back then and he still is now. But I have a feeling Sepron might take it back. We don't know. I won't know for a while until I reread this, which is going to be a long, trust me. I am reading them as fast as I can. But yeah, Arcta, 4th place, still as he was. 3rd place, taking a big leap, originally 5th place. We get to the top 3, and 3rd place is the one, Furno, the Fire Dragon. Yes, I put Furno, finally put him above Arcta, and put him above Sepron. rereading this, I realise how good Seprom was compared to the other books. And a big reason why he has the advantage is because he has a really good story, obviously, the very first one. He has a great design, great abilities, and he has a fight. Now, like I said, I'm not too fussed about the fight. Do I wish it could have been longer? Yes, but he had a much longer fight than Nanook, Sepron, and Epos. So there's that. That's why Sepron... I'm doing it. Furno beats them. And that's why he's boosted up to 3rd place. And I now absolutely love him. And that's why I'll talk about the Beast of Avantia in a bit. Oh my god, I just winked. And then 2nd place. Right. Now, the top 2 were hard. Because I'm like, one, I think has a better story. But I feel like the 1st place is more impactful. That's why I put them there. Now, like with Sepron and Arcta, it could change. But until then, 2nd place is Tagus the Horseman. Like I said, and I think what pulls Tagus down is the fact that at the end of the day, he is just a centaur and he has basic abilities. There's no standout abilities. He and Arcta are the only ones that don't have a standout ability. Apart from that, everything else about him is great. The story, the vibes it gives, the action, the acceleration. This is a very action-packed book. And that's what I love. That's why I feel like we have that jolt. We have these more story-based books, and then we get this action-filled book. And it feels like then they're like, okay, time to show off the action as much as we can now. And it works really well. A fast-paced beast like Tagus, it works really well. And Tagus originally was 3rd place, and he's now gone up to 2nd. Okay, that's actually not bad. But with the beast himself, sadly, I can't put him 1st place. And that's because 1st place, my new favourite of the series, who was originally 2nd place, although Crown could be overtaken by Tagus, my new favourite of the series is Epos. I've always loved Epos, with her being 2nd. And even though I do wish she had more of a fight, I think everything else about her is amazing. The beast is beautiful. The abilities, so many, and they're all so good. And the story, finding out more about the past and actually having the confrontation with Malvo in the Stonewind Volcano. What a great finale! And of course, leaves us off on a great cliffhanger with Malvo possibly being alive. And it just works so well. Epos is my new favourite. Might get overtaken by Tagus, who knows. But for now, she is the best. The finale. And we've now gone on to a theme where she can now be included in the finale is the best book. Which that happens quite a lot, seems to be. And there we have it. Series 1 updated and ranked. Now, just to talk about the Beast of Avantia quickly, because that's the thing. Because of this updated list, my opinions on the Beast have changed, and I've also looked back and realised something. How I view these beasts. So if I was to rank them from worst to best, last place is Nanook, ultimately. 5th place is Epos. What? No, not 5th place is Epos. 5th place is Tagus. 4th is Arcta. 3rd is Seprom. 2nd is Epos. And my new favourite is Furno. And I realised that because Furno has so many more standout moments, and I realise compared to Sepron, he's a better beast. He also stars in a book that I used to absolutely love in Series 3, being Tusk. And he's had many moments. Specifically, I mean, he was in the Kingdom of Dragons. He's been there for Tom more times, as well as Epos. But Furno has been there for him more times. He's a beast that I would gladly take into battle, acknowledging that he would win, and he's a very strong beast. I've said this in Mortax. If Furno and Epos had kept fighting, which beast would win? Well, considering that Furno is fire resistant and is much bigger than Epos and is very durable, and the fact that Epos can only rebirth in fire in the Stonewind Volcano, that's a theory I've come to realise. It seems because they mentioned she could be reborn of the ashes of the Stonewind Volcano. So does that mean that if she gets killed anywhere else, she can't rebirth? I know she's a phoenix and it's commonly like that, but they specifically say in the Stonewind Volcano. So I'm like, okay. If they had actually fought to the death, which one would have won? I honestly think Furno would have beaten Epos. And I'm quite confident in that answer. But with that being said, that is all for this time. If you like what you saw, leave a like, leave a comment. Don't forget to subscribe. Press that notification bell down below. I feel weird about... Oh, my TV's doing stuff. Oh, God. You can't see, but yeah. I feel weird about this series. I feel weird of the new opinions I have. But I'm just going to have to get used to it. But with that being said, I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.